Hi YouTube, part 2 of turning this Christmas tree into a bonsai tree. Done a very rough chop, cut a couple of pieces off the top, just make it a little bit less top heavy whilst I'm trying to work on the roots in a minute. As you can see, Puppy thinks I've done it just for him. Thanks Coop. Don't really want a 5-foot tall bonsai tree either. I haven't done anything special in terms of looking at what's front or back. Just chopped a big chunk off the top. I'll see how the nabari looks when I work my way down to it. Thanks. Okay, got it up on my tatty old workbench. Gonna try and get the climate bag off and see what the roots are like. It was pot grown rather than field grown, so hopefully it's got a pretty healthy root system. We'll see. Okay, so got the bag off. I believe I said it was field grown. It was field grown but in the pot. So as you can see, it put out some pretty hefty roots that have split through the side of the pot. It's in a very heavy clay soil. At this stage I've got no idea how much fine roots it might have, if any. Although it's still looking very healthy here in March and has been out of the ground since possibly November. It's got a lot of low branches and a relatively good sized trunk. I'm going to dig into the roots and see what we find. Okay, so finally got the pot off. Had to cut it apart to get it off. As you can see, there's a lot of big roots in there. Not a huge amount as far as I can see at the moment. Feeder roots. That I'm going to start cutting away and see what I can see. As you can see, there's not a lot of feeder roots lower down, though there are some. And of this big chunk here, which I think I'm going to remove this section, and some of this, and this big piece in here, and plant it at about this level. So this is where I think it has the most interesting nabari. That will allow me to leave some of these roots, which are actually coming from higher up, to continue feeding the tree in its training pot. Some more roots grow lower down, then perhaps these can be removed later on. I'm going to give it a whirl anyway. Okay, so this is what I've ended up with. As you can see, I've potted it up into a washing up bowl. I get these cheap at Asda. They do quite well as training pots. Fairly shallow. Got a whole load of holes in the bottom. Good layer of grit for drainage. I don't know if you can see that, it's dripping away merrily at the moment. I've potted it so that the higher roots are at the surface. They may well yet be the roots that I use if the lower roots die back and don't produce feeder roots. Gonna have a go at cutting back the top some, but I need to leave some options open. Leave it to develop for another year or so to develop some better root systems. Okay, I think that's about as much as I want to do to it for now. I think I'm just going to let it grow on for a year now, but I will update as to its progress.